Welcome back to SatoshiConomy, honest global crypto news and info, where the message is more important than the messenger. What's your plan? Today is Wednesday, August 14th, 2019. As we speak, Bitcoin's at about 10,200. What's your plan? You better have one, Stan, or you're going to get wrecked. So this is just an encouragement for you to tweak your plan, or to certainly get one if you don't have one, if you're an ostrich with your head in the sand. Because really what's going on, we are entering some territory that's never been seen in history. And you know, my father was born in 1929, the year of the Great Crash, and for years after that, there was hard times, and most of us alive today can't relate to what happened back in 1929, because what's that? 87 years, 88 years now since then, 90 years. So the reason why I had that 87 in my mind was because in December of 2018, just 7-8 months ago, it was the worst December in stock market history in 87 years. And now we're seeing the stock market plunging. We've had 3 really big drops in the last 10 or 12 days, and it's hearkening I was listening to one commentator today saying that the first 2 that we saw last week are nothing compared. What he was saying is that now we're going to see some 1,000-point drops, and we're going to really see it go down. I know that Ron Paul, back when that December in 2018 was happening, he was saying he believes the stock market is going to crash about 50%. I was talking to someone yesterday who is up to almost $1 million in savings, and they call it savings because it's in the stock market. They're doing very good with their 401k, but they said, what's that Bitcoin at, 4,000? And really, they really don't think that they wouldn't even consider buying some Bitcoin, because it's just something that they don't know anything about. And I understand that. Who would invest in something that they don't know anything about? But SatoshiConomy, what Satoshi Nakamoto did in his white paper, the explanation of the Bitcoin project, he made a comment in there was, why not get some just in case this catches on? And it's really some wise words. I listen to some people who really love the XRP, and they say that XRP just might go up 10,000x. That would be 1,000,000%. And so $1,000 today in XRP would become $1 million. $1,000, no, it'd become 10 million. 1,000 be 10,000, 100,000, a million, 10 million. They're saying 10,000x, so that would be, 1,000,000%. And who knows? No one knows, but the wisdom of why not get some just in case it takes off. We're entering times that have never been seen in the history of mankind, and the main reason is because there are digital currencies out there now that are cryptocurrencies, true cryptocurrencies. And when I say true, what I mean is cryptocurrency being decentralized, having no controls on it that are typical in history, that are currencies that are controlled by governments and banks, and a cryptocurrency having no borders, having no permission. In other words, anybody can get into it, where it has a hard money design to it. For example, Bitcoin is hard money because it has a very specific inflation design to it, where there will only be ever 21 million Bitcoins ever produced, and the last one will be mined and produced into the economy in the year 2140. Right now, we've surpassed 85% of the potential Bitcoins that will ever be mined. So that was 17,850,000. There's been more than that mined now. We're over 85%, and beginning in, I believe it's May 2020. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think it is May 22nd. I'll put it in the show notes. Is when Bitcoin will be halved, meaning the rate of production of Bitcoins will be cut in half. From every 10 minutes, there being 12.5 Bitcoins mined to being 6.5 Bitcoins mined. And that will absolutely, positively create more urgency, and we'll have a forward or a upticking force onto the value of Bitcoin. So we're living in very, very interesting times. We have Denmark now will pay you to take out a mortgage. In other words, it's what's called a negative interest rate mortgage, where you take out a mortgage and you don't even have to pay back as much as you took out. People ask, how is that possible? Well, in a global economy where we have what's known as fractional reserve lending, if a bank has $1 million in actual dollars, so to speak, they can lend out 10 million. So for the Danes to give you, say, let's just say $100,000 loan and say, I'll just pay back 98,000. Well, they only needed 10,000 in the bank to give you that. So they will be getting a return after you pay back 10,000 of that 98,000. See what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that, but the question I've posed to people is, how much would a gallon of milk be if everybody had $100? Let's just say, for sake of conversation, a gallon of milk would then be $1. But how much would be charged if everybody had $1 million for a gallon of milk? It could be $100 or $1,000. See what I'm saying? So with more and more currency out there, and I don't just mean greenbacks, I mean M1 or M2 or reserves or notations on ledgers in banks. For the example that I just gave you, with more and more cash out there, it's just inflating, and it's no wonder that the dollar has lost 99% of its value since 1913. And thus, with the bank bailout, which in the U.S. taxpayers paid for, not the banks, they're laughing all the way to the bank. But since 2008 in the bank bailouts, and them not having to pay back all of their debts and getting a fresh new start. I mean, I looked at one of my cars needs tabs. A couple years ago, this was a backup car. A couple years ago, a car like that, you could get your tabs for a whole year for under $40. Now, they want $64.95 for it. 24. That's like a 52 or 53% increase in the taxes on just tabs. So we're just going to be taxed to death. And so with the digital economy out here and the opportunity for people to participate in an economy without permission, and an economy without borders, and an economy that is truly free market, where the prices of Bitcoin or the coin or the token is guarded strictly by the open market, the free market. It's dependent on how much are people buying of it. It's dependent on how much are people selling of it. It's dependent on how much do people trust in it, believe in it, have faith on it. How much do people use it? I mean, the volumes of Bitcoin, and I'm not talking about fake volumes, where there's these, in my mind, they should be illegal, these exchanges that wash trade, but the verifiable blockchain noted Bitcoin transactions, I mean, it's going through the roof. And the reason why is because people are seeing it as a hedge. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto, when he invented Bitcoin, he didn't invent it as a store of value. His reason for inventing it in the white paper, at the front page, literally says Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. He invented it hoping that people would use it as a means of exchange, not as a store of value. But all over the world, that's really the primary use case for it, is what we're seeing. It's really becoming a store of value. And with central banks buying up gold, and with central banks also buying Bitcoin, and with CNBC now saying, hey, you should have stocks, you should have bonds, and you should have Bitcoin. I mean, what's the world coming to? Do you see how valuable some of these tokens and Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies are going to be? Do you see yet the extent, pardon me, of where we're going to in the economy? Thus, this video. I mean, if you don't have a plan, get one. If you don't have some water, get some. I mean, I just said that in jest and to clear my throat, but that'd be a store of value. Just some food for thought. Why not store up a little bit of water? Why not store up silver coins? Why not store up silver dollars? Why not store up gold? And I don't mean paper gold. Why not store up silver? Why not store up some Bitcoin? I mean, you can get 1/10,000,000th of it, or 1/100,000,000th of a Bitcoin. So it's at about 10,000 today. It doesn't mean you have to have 10,000 to get it. Just get some. Find out how to do it. You know how to YouTube. Do it. Because what if just in case this thing really takes off? When you get some, understand what a private key is and what a public key is. And what I suggest is, once you purchase it, get it off the internet. You could even store the keys in your brain, in your memory. Many people suggest a paper wallet, write it down. Don't separate it. Some people think that's a good idea, but there's proof that that's not a good idea. Keep the whole key and then securitize it, and tell at least one other loved and trusted person what your private key is, God forbid, and just figure it out. What's your plan? Tweak your plan, because when this thing really starts to crash, you won't hear about it on mainstream, lamestream, fake stream media. And it's really, really, really wise thing to consider just getting some in case this thing really takes off. So just some words of encouragement. No need to be worried if you got a plan. And they're really, in my opinion, in the not so distant future, will begin the acceleration of one of the greatest wealth transfer in the history of mankind. So you've heard it here, you've heard it elsewhere. Now you don't have any excuses for, doing something. And again, I'm not, as I've said in some of my previous videos, I'm not all about all Bitcoin, but diversify a little bit here. Because ask Warren Buffett, when things are really, really cheap, that's when he makes all the money. What was one of his famous sayings? You make your money when you buy, not when you sell. You see what I'm saying? There's other rich people who say, I love the crash, because that's when you make your money. I mean, back in 1929, the rigged market crash, over 13 months, I think it crashed to 88%, 89%. And that's when the people who had the cash swooped up all the things of value. Also, land would be a good thing to things of real value. I don't see why cars wouldn't be a good thing. Trading cards, even. I mean, you name it. There's some things that will have some real value that will be very different than what you think is valuable today, like maybe stocks. Word. Hashtag love all, serve others. Thank you very much for your attention. Please like and subscribe and click on the blue planet. And I'd appreciate that. And until next time, peace.